Good morning and welcome to Waking Wellness, where our purpose is to help you embrace yours. Today we have the topic of defense mechanisms. These are psychological strategies that are unconsciously used to help protect us and protect the self from anxiety when it arises from unacceptable thoughts and feelings or emotions. So we tend to use these as a coping strategy to help us when things get a little bit way too overbearing. And the benefits of these are that they do protect us momentarily. And so when we do have way too much bombarding us and it would really overrun our mental program, it helps us sort of smoothen the whole ride and allows us to focus on what we I don't want to say need to focus on because we should be focusing on these things in the long term, but they help us to push these things off a little bit and focus on what needs to have attention and what is of utmost importance at the moment. So, by allowing us to take on more than we typically can psychologically and giving us that time to process, when we use these defensive mechanisms properly and don't overdo it, then they allow us to work through, once we take the time, to bring back these problems and these issues, feelings and thoughts and things that we don't want to be dealing with. We now have the time to put them in the forefront of our consciousness and process them and allow them to come into our awareness, and also we allow them to leave. Now, the cons of these are when they are overused and they become more than just a momentary coping mechanism. They start to really bind and restrict us, and that's why I actually chose defense mechanisms as our topic today, because our prior one was rigidity, and these have the tendency or the ability, when they are overused, to cause that callous feeling internally and to our heart, and really to our whole personality and our being when we do start to overuse these. So that's why I chose to go into the defense mechanisms so that we could sort of unearth the whole rigidity, open heart, and get a little bit deeper. The issue with, or the cons of, the defense mechanisms, and the way that they do limit growth, is when we constantly stay within this usage or within this program that utilizes these defense mechanisms, we are consistently perpetuating a fearful state of being. It's more of like a fight or flight, and so we're always in I need to get away from this, and we're using so much energy, draining ourselves, not really moving towards anything. We're really using it to block us from things, and that becomes our reality. Now we do not desire to go towards things. We tend to now think with a let me shield from, and now we're very defensive or closed off, and we start to cut off opportunities, vital life force, and everything else, really cut off ourselves from reality, and we disconnect. And so when that happens, we now have a blockage, and we have the biggest issue that arises from this: we cut off our access from ourself. So we are going to go through 7 of the defense mechanisms for you guys. There are a lot more, but we only wanted to sort of shorten it down to the main ones so we can help you spot them in yourself and others, give you clarity to situations so that you can open yourself up a little bit more and become more aware of what is. Number 1, denial. Number 2, displacement. 3, projection. Number 4, rationalization. Number 5, reaction formation. Number 6, repression. And number 7 is sublimation. We're going to go through those for you just a little bit to give you a gist of what each does. We're gonna go through each one of these for you guys so you get a gist of what each one is sort of like in a real world situation, so it can help you spot it when you are using it or it is in a situation near to you. Denial. Denial is more of the nah, it can't be type of vibes. Like, it's that even though everything around you, all the information, all the data, everyone's saying it is saying this specific thing, this defense mechanism is a pretty much a blocker and will not allow you to see what is right in front of you. Displacement. This is more of a it's your fault, but really has nothing to do with you type of vibes. This is when you, let's say you had that terrible meeting, or maybe your coworkers really had you agitated, or maybe it's something within you that has you like that. And instead of addressing where that issue is coming from, we tend to misplace it. So once you get home, then you put it on your wife or your spouse, you put it on your children, your brother, sister, your family, whoever. But the main point is it's not directed at the place that it should be because it is misplaced. So that's why it is displacement. Projection. This is the you really feel that way, but really it's how I feel. Again, these are mechanisms that are happening unconsciously. So these are not things that we are always they're not at the conscious or our conscious forefront. We are not sort of triggering these and walking through and being like, oh yeah, because if so, then it would be a lot easier to spot projection. The way that we spot these mechanisms and things like these mechanisms, which sort of hide under that layer of, oh, it's easy to spot that this is there, this is that. The way that we come to is by reflection and being aware. So that's something to sort of keep in mind when we're talking about defense mechanisms and things that really exist on the layer underneath conscious thought. That makes sense. Number 4, rationalization. This is just I gotta make it make sense, even if I don't make sense vibe. We all have had it happen, like, no, it just can't, like, it typically happens when behavior of something or someone deviates from what you just always known it to be. You're like, they wouldn't do me like that. It couldn't have been. No, maybe they didn't mean and even when sort of all of those signs add up, we will make the situation, which quote unquote doesn't make sense when it really doesn't. I know, it's wild, isn't it? Things that we do on the conscious and unconscious level, it's wild. Number 5, reaction formation. This is the I really, really, really don't want to feel like that, so now I'm acting like this type of vibe. It means that if you got dumped and you're like, oh, I'm really hurt, it really got to me, like, that was my baby, and you don't want to feel like that, you may then be portraying the, oh no, I'm all good without it, like, I'm living life, I'm out here hitting the gym, I'm out here, and portraying this, I'm happy and I'm this other way. You're doing the exact opposite of what you're feeling. That is reaction formation as a defense mechanism. Repression is number 6. Repression is more of the I'm better off without remembering, but what did I forget again? Type of vibe. We have the defense mechanism puts us in a place of we are not acting without the conscious knowledge of something happening. And so I know that may be a little bit difficult to grasp in that sense, in the way that I said it. So I may be acting out of, let's say in the situation of being dumped, or feeling abandoned. I may be acting a specific way, but I have repressed the knowledge of even, let's say, being dumbed or abandoned. It's almost like a memory blackout. Like it's not going to be able to come to the conscious forefront. So therefore, I'm acting out these things, but yet there is no recollection for the moment. Number 7 is sublimation. This is the I will let you have it, but being a better me means making better choices type of vibe. So instead of arguing when you're mad or lashing out, you put your actions into a much more accepted action, like working out or going to run. Why do all of these matter? Who should care? You should. Because being mindful of these will allow you to bring clarity to the situations, aiding you to identify when you use them, which ones you use them, how often you do, and if you're overusing them, which will allow us to see when we are using them appropriately. This is mainly for the sake of detecting when we are heavily guarded, when we're overly fearful or restricting access from the self. As we are talking about the heart chakra, living within the heart, accessing self and source. So that's the main reason why I created this video, to help expand our awareness so that we can get free from these defense mechanisms and just sort of another matrix or another chain, so that we can truly open ourselves to our lives, our opportunity, and all that it really has to offer. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, until next time, please like, comment, let me know what you liked, disliked, share it, all that good stuff. And until next time, this is Wake and Wellness with the spiritual psychologist, and we are out.